I'll just briefly introduce myself. Many people in the group already know me. And for those who don't know me, my name is Vera Patrick Azodo, and I'm the founder of the Reader's Corner, which is a company that is focused on promoting the reading culture in families. Part of our strategies, our tools, our conversations are all focused on helping families to reignite the reading culture, which I believe you agree with me has taken the backstage in these times, right? So what our vision is, our goal is to raise lifelong readers. So it is that parents are reading, the children are reading, families are reading together and connecting better. That is the goal of the Reader's Corner. I am married and I have two adorable kids. I'm an intentional mom and I'm also a professional financial risk manager. I'll be hosting you today and we're going to have a good time. I can assure you that because the team has worked tirelessly to make sure today is successful. Right. So just so you know, I am not seeing the chat room. So if you're dropping stuff there, I might not be able to see you. But if you raise your hand, I can see you and then I can let you speak. But aside that, if you're not talking, if you're not the one taking the call, please help us to mute your mic so that we can have a great experience on this course. This for today will be the course outline. You can see it's packed. I'm going to try as much as possible to run through things as quickly as possible. I wouldn't want to take questions in between. We'll have a session for questions and I'll try as much as possible to do this in 1 hour. And then we can have about 15 minutes to 20 minutes to take your questions. Please help us mute yourselves as you join. Mute yourselves as you join. Please, I want to be the only one talking so that we can have a good experience. Right. So we're going to be looking at introductions, when reading declines, all of that, the Matthew effect, how reading transforms the child from inside out, what makes your reader child stand out, how reading with your child enriches you as a parent. Now, what does the Bible say about child readers? We're going to touch on that. Barriers to reading. Why is it that most children don't really love to read? And when I say reading, for the purpose of this course, I don't mean picking an English or math book to read. No, I mean a child who reads a book every day. That is the goal, right? Before bedtime, you see them sneaking into books. At the free time at the park, they are with a book. They're going for a friend's party. They want a book in their bag. That is the goal. That's where we're going on this journey. So just to be clear, we're not talking about a child that does assignments by force or just to tick the box. No, those are not readers. Readers are people who have a lifelong habit of reading, just like I do. Now, I'm going to show you how all of this have happened for me. I have two children who are readers. I am a reader. We have not always been readers. We've walked through a journey, and all those steps, strategies, and tools are what I've put together in this course. Now, before I move forward a little bit, I would like for you to chat in the room and let me know where you're joining us from. Where are you joining? City or country, whichever one is fine. Shall we? Let me see the charts. So I have to come back to the charts. Okay, I see Moncton, New Brunswick. I see Calgary, Funke. I see Dr. Julia, Ontario. Olamipo, Calgary. I connect I from Maureen from Saskatoon. Oluchi from Calgary, Canada. Biola from Scarborough. Remileku from New Brunswick. Amaka Donald from Canada, New Brunswick. Oh my God, you guys are amazing. Thank you. Keep it coming. Precious from Nigeria. Alicia from London, I'm sorry, from UK, Ola from Winnipeg. Thank you. I really do appreciate. So I just wanted to know at least who I am talking with because I can't see most faces. Um, so moving ahead quickly. what is it with this slide? Awesome. What is the objective of the course? Is to help you understand the enormous benefits of children reading daily. You learn why, we're going to learn why children struggle to read. It doesn't come naturally, right? So when you have a child who would rather pick a tablet or a phone or play a game than read a book, it is normal. Reading has to be taught. It is not innate, right? So we have to identify age-appropriate reading strategies to make reading fun, because reading has to be a fun activity, not a chore. We're going to be looking at how to select engaging and appropriate books for your child, the strategies to control screen time, and strategies to build a lifelong love of reading. And most importantly, Miss Calabar, please, can you help us mute yourself, Mama? Thank you for joining me. Thank you, Ma. That's my big mommy in New Brunswick. Thank you, Ma. I honor your presence. And then we're going to move on to learning how to use reading as a tool for family bonding and creating lasting memories. Now, food for thought. Children who don't read, who do not learn to love reading, miss out on the tool that opens every other subject, every career path, and every dream. Now, this is not cliche. This is the reality. Because reading consistently is one skill or one habit that has the capacity to transform an entire person in and out. We're going to talk more about that is in the slides. So when your child is not reading as a habit, there's a limit to what they can become. There's a limit, and that's a self-placed limit, which we're here in this course to unpack and help every parent on this course remove that limit and give your children the wings to fly by starting this habit. Children don't fall in love with reading by force. They fall in love through joy, connection, and curiosity. So it's not a matter of go and read your book, go and read your book. This is what we heard as children growing up, most of us. Go and read your book, go and read your book. That's not the goal. The goal is to stop your child from reading. Okay, that's enough, go to bed. That is the goal. And that is what happens, is practical. It can happen to you. It happens to me. Many of the nights I need to struggle with my daughter to go to bed because she won't let her books go. And when I say books, is not academic books, it's just curiosity, reading voraciously on any topic, on any field, any genre. Just make sure that they are age appropriate. So that's it. When reading declines, literacy suffers. Now, the topic of literacy is a big one. I intentionally put this slide here because I know most parents really love the academics part. So for the sake of parents who really love passionate about academic performance and all of that, I've added this slide just to let you know that there's a connection, that academic success, that literacy success you're looking for is also tied to reading. Now let's look at literacy. It's the ability to understand, interpret, and communicate through various forms of languages. The connection between reading and literacy is foundational because reading is both a core component of literacy and is also a primary means of development. So it's like a circle. You read better, you're more literate. And when you're more literate, you use that skill to read better. Literacy goes beyond just reading. You talk about reading, writing, speaking, listening, comprehension, and critical thinking. All of these are under literacy, and all of them are also packed under reading fluency, right? Literacy is not just about reading books. It's about reading the world. Without it, children are behind in every way that matters. This is the truth. So if a child is not a reader, a child is not reading, a child is just ticking the box with academic performance and all of that, that child hasn't gotten the feel of the world, right? So let's look at some shocking statistics on literacy. The World Bank estimates that 70% of 10-year-olds in low and medium income countries are unable to read and understand a simple text. That is how bad poor literacy can get, right? In 1984, that's so many years ago, no problem. 31% of 9-year-olds reported reading daily for fun. 31%. Now, fast forward to 2020, this number has dropped to 15%. That's a whooping 50% drop. And I can assure you, if you take this survey again by NAIP in 2025, this number keeps dropping. And we're going to talk about why. Canada drops from 12th to 18th place in the global progress in international reading literacy study for grade 4. So everything about literacy just taking a
Excuse me, I
nosedive.
can't see the screen.
Can you see the screen? Somebody said they can't see the screen. Can anybody else see the screen? Please, can you just put it in the chat so that I'm the only one talking? It's slowing us down. We have a lot to cover. Let me see what the chat is saying.
I can see the screen.
Okay, so we go ahead. Please, if you can't see the screen, can you go out and then try to join in? Thank you very much. I hope that helps.
Okay.
For so I even want to just look at New Brunswick. This is my own city. 43% and 30% of students in grades 4 and 6 came in below the expected reading levels in 2023. Now, let me tell you a story about this. I put this intentionally because I wanted to talk about it. So one of the times I went to my children's school, I volunteer a lot for some of their activities, and especially when it comes to literacy and stuff. And something shocking, something shocked me, like when they talked about how the literacy results was the worst of all times in New Brunswick as a province. Like, children are not reading anymore, they don't pay attention in classes, they are highly distracted, no attention, no focus, and all of that. And then the teacher I was speaking with said something that I was unable to marry together. He said that the government approved that the school librarian, be taken off the job. And you have a report that says literacy skills are dropping. Then the librarian, who is the only person in the library that even helps the few children who still want to read. This is the person who gives them the books, right? Helps them to read, select the best books, read, mark, track when they return the books, and all of that. And then the school is also the government has approved that staff should be taken off. So that means the school library will be vacant. So you can project what will happen in the next 5 years with this new strategy. Do you understand? So if your children are in schools and you're relying on the school to teach them these skills, that is a shocker. That it's not the best way. You need to build literacy in the home, right in the home. Illiteracy has far-reaching consequences that extend beyond the individual to affect families, communities, and nations. So I move to the next slide. Why does this take so long? Awesome. How reading regularly supports literacy. Now, it builds the child's language skills. A child who reads frequently, the thing with reading is it's automatic, like it's a chain reaction. You start the habits, every other thing begins to align. You don't need to bother about teaching somebody how to speak fluently. You don't need to teach about understanding you clearly and all of that. I think I missed a slide. Let me go back a bit. Oh, okay. I'll just keep going. There's a slide that I didn't see. So it's like a snowball, it's a chain reaction. You teach one thing and every other thing unfolds. It develops comprehension. That child that you're giving instructions, telling to do stuff, and sometimes they look lost. Some other times they don't forget. Sorry, they don't remember, they forget. Some other times you have to say things repeatedly. No, the problem is there's a part of the brain that needs to be unlocked. We're going to look at that in subsequent slides. Readers are writers. There's no, argument about that. A child who reads, who loves to read, is automatically an author. How does that happen? So the more you read, the more your neural pathways are expanded, and the more you're able to create by yourself. What is writing? Is creation. And that's what I've done here. I'm writing now. That's because I'm a reader, right? I put this together by myself. The ideas keep coming. I do some research, the inspiration keeps coming because I've trained my brain cells to a certain level where they think with the speed of light. And that brings me to the next one, which is promotes critical thinking. This part is very key, especially for parents. I know this class is for parents to teach their children, but some of the things that I'm going to say here will also apply to us as parents. You see what is called speed of thoughts. That means before they ask you a question, you have an answer. That is speed of thought, and it is only unlocked when a child or a person reads habitually. It motivates lifelong learning, right? Reading is the engine that powers literacy. If you want to improve literacy in a child, in a classroom, or community, you start by improving reading habits. It's as simple as that. Now, for some parents, they believe, oh, my child is too young. He's just about 2 years, he's 3, he's 4, he's still a baby. And then there's some other categories who have bigger children. Now, let me tell you why we must teach reading early in childhood, very early. And I explained this with a concept called the Matthew effect. And it's taken from the Bible. For those of us that are Christians, good and fine. If you're not a Christian, just see the Bible as another book that we're referencing, okay? In Matthew 25, verse 29, it says, "For to everyone who has, more will be given, and he will have abundance. But from the one who has not, even the small that the person has will be taken away." This is the story of the parable. Remember, of the talents. We all remember this story. How does it work really? Let me explain it to you. It has two parts, which is the rich gets richer and the poor gets poorer. Now, the rich gets richer is the child who has been introduced to reading very early. You have a baby that is 0 months old or 1 month that just came out from your belly. You need to start reading for that child. That child is at a better advantage than someone who starts to read at 10 or even at 5. In fact, let me retract that. You are pregnant with a child, you have to start reading for that child right from the belly. It makes your work easier. So children who read early and often build skills. Okay, these are the rich people. They are children who read early and often build skills quickly. They become fluent, confident, and motivated readers. This leads to even more reading, further boosting literacy. Now, once a child becomes a reader, they are readers for life. They can't stop, right? You'll be the one asking this child, please, can you keep a book? Go and do your chores, leave book, or leave book. Let's go on dates on something like that. These are for people who start reading early. The poor gets poorer. Children who struggle with reading early early on tend to avoid it. I'm sure many of us parents can attest to that. A child that you've never really prioritized reading in your home, it's all about maybe like other games and all of that. That child, but the moment when you start, they're going to resist you. They're going to fight you. That's what that point is saying. This leads to slower vocabulary growth, weaker comprehension, and academic frustration. The gap between them and strong readers widens over time, right? So the rich gets richer. The people who started reading early, they become better readers, they become better writers, they become smarter thinkers and all of that. The ones who don't start early, there is still hope for you. I'm not about to say that parents who have teenagers on this call are disadvantaged. No, I am just emphasizing for those who are lucky to have younger kids, the time to start is now, right now. In fact, it is already late if the child has been born. It's as bad as that. Now, for older kids, we have strategies in this slide that will talk about. I mean, it's possible, but it's just actually more work for the parent, but it's doable. I'm going to run a bit fast because my time is going really quickly. Now, how do we solve the Matthew effect problem? Number one, identify struggling readers very early, especially from kindergarten to grade 2. So if you're a parent here, you see that your child, you know, reading it's not fun, it's not the next activity to look into, then that child is a struggling reader. You have to wake up, take it more seriously, walk them through the process that we're going to talk about in subsequent slides. Use explicit evidence-based instruction, provide intensive individualized support. That is why you are on this call, which is provide intensive individual. Like we're going to learn how to focus on one child per time. And then encourage reading for pleasure with accessible and engaging books. Now, I like this point because it's not reading as a chore, which is what most of us, especially African parents, were taught. right? Go and read your book, go and read your book. It's meant go and read English and maths. But we want to move from that into go and read a book. A book means you give them the option of choice. Read anything, but just read. The earlier we intervene, the better the chance we have to stop the Matthew effect and close the literacy gap. Now, the rave about reading habitually, building a reading habit and all of that, reading consistently. How does a reading habit transform children from inside out? The first one, it boosts cognitive development. Reading daily enhances cognitive development in children by shaping how they think. We talked about speed of thought already. A child that when you ask them a question, they are taking long minutes to process. There's a problem. The reader child unlocks information with the speed of light. As you're talking it, they have a response. Their speed of thought is on a very high frequency. It also shapes how they understand. I talked about this already. A child that you're giving instructions, you're telling stuff, and they're like, it's a slow process to conceptualize what you're saying. It can be better. How they learn, talking about academics, a reader child doesn't trouble the teacher. A reader child, in fact, you know how it is for those of us in diaspora, it's very easy to spot reader children. You would naturally spot them. I'll tell you a story. So part of my volunteer services to my children's school, one time in May, they had career day. They wanted people to, all the professions to go and display, exhibit what they do and teach children. I'm a risk manager by profession, but I also have the reader's corner. So I went there as the reader's corner. I didn't want to teach anybody about finances. I wanted to teach them about reading, because if you get reading right, you can succeed in every other career that you choose. And children, so let me cut this story short, it's a long one. But the point is, a lot of children came to my table because I had some sample books. They came around, they looked. Some people asked questions. Some of them were not patient. They ran off to the other tables where there were cookies and candies. I didn't carry any of those things. I carried some sample books and word search puzzles on reading, anything mental. That's what I wanted. But there's this girl, she came to me. She said, Mom, what's the best part of owning the reader's corner? And what's the worst part? Do you need to be told that this child is a reader child? Clearly, she is a reader child. Did you see the dimension of the question? And this is a very small girl, maybe like grade 2, very small girl. She said, what's the worst part? What are the challenges? This is a child who came for career day. She knows that she's there to know more about different careers and how best to choose from those careers, right? So that question is the perfect question to ask. Like, and she was the only one. I entertained over 200 children that day. They came to the table. Only one person asked that question. So I had to ask her because I wanted to establish my point that this child is a reader. And then I asked her, what's your routine like? Do you read sometimes or every day? She said, I read every day. My mom, she reads me bedtime stories every night. Simple. That's all the woman is doing at home. But look at the fruits outside, showing outside the house. So that's just to buttress my point when I say your child will stand out wherever they are. You don't need lesson teacher. You don't need all of the ones easy way outs that we're doing. Just read for these children and read with these children. You'll be amazed about the kind of person that you're raising. How reading daily improves cognitive development. It strengthens the brain connections, right? Like I mentioned earlier, the neural pathways of the brain, they become more activated the more a child reads, right? So when those new this concept is called the neuroplasticity of the brain. So they said the neurons that the wire together fire together. So the more a child reads, the more a parent is reading, there's something happening in the brain that you cannot see, right? It just strengthens that brain connections and makes this child to just be naturally sharp in what we call in our what's it called now? Like casual English, sharp. The child is sharp, right? But what we're saying is that this child is just exceptional. Um, it also enhances memory and attention, right? Enhances memory and attention. when we talk to children and you give an instruction in the house and then you go for a meeting and before you're back, they've forgotten what you've said. The memory pathway is not strengthened. You have a child that struggles to stay focused, to listen to what you're saying. Memory and attention is a problem. There's a problem somewhere. All of this, they don't come naturally. Well, maybe for some children it comes naturally, but most children, the parent needs to do this work. So that is why a friend of mine mentioned to me, I said, Vera, why are you doing a course for me to teach my child? Come and gather the children, do book review, do book club, let the children. And my answer is straight. I don't teach reading to children without first connecting with their parents, because the parent is the primary person in this assignment. So no matter how much you put your child in schools, lesson teachers, virtual and physical, book clubs, there's a part for you to play as a parent. And it is that part that we're talking about today. So we can, let it be a combination of your own efforts and the other external sources. But your primary assignment is to help these children, give them an advantage over life to become readers, right? Still on the memory, when they read stories and they remember characters, they remember settings and plots, it helps to build short-term and long-term memory. And this helps children to develop the ability to organize and retain information. Next point, it develops critical thinking skills. When children read stories, right, which is usually what is in books, right? They learn how to predict outcomes, what will happen next. They are trying to, see how the story is going to end, right? It teaches them to question, compare, and evaluate information. So it's not a child that you tell anything on the street, they just take it hook, line, and sinker. No, a reader child that has a sharp critical thinking skills will question you. And that's the part we talk about curiosity. We're going to get to that. Then it improves attention and focus, right? When children listen to books or read on books, that period of time where they are calm, they are not distracted, they're just, focused on what they are doing. That period of time is doing something in the brain. It builds patience and concentration, right? Which are very key for learning. So the child that school is complaining, oh, this child is not paying attention, is not focused, is restless. Yeah, that's the word. Restless. A restless child just needs another book. A restless child just needs another book. Can someone help me put that in the comment section? Let's get you active a little bit more. A restless child just needs another book. Thank you. I see your comments just now. I try to mute the comments so I'm not distracted. A restless child just needs one more book. Keep on reading that book for the child. Yes, thank you, Dr. Julia. Thank you. Yeah. And then it helps to build language. Definitely, you know how this works. A child that reads comes across different types of words, different patterns of thinking, different kinds of literature. So it helps them to build their vocabulary and to build their language. And then it stimulates imagination and mental visualization. We said it helps them to predict what's happening. So they have a lot of work going on in their brain. How would this end? How did this start? How will it end? And all of that. So we move. Now, the next point, I think my stuff is hanging. Why does it not move? Good. Reading improves academic performance. There's a popular quote I like to say to my friends when we talk about children and reading, and I said that Albert Einstein, all of us know him, right? He said, every child is born a genius. But the reason why most people do not function at genius level is because they are not aware of how creative and smart they are. Another guy, what's his name? Richard Buckminster, he said, that every child is born a genius, but the process of training them then degenuses them. So, and I can back this up with scripture. The Bible tells us in the book of Genesis that when God saw what he created, he said, "This is good." So, any part of your life, your child that is not good, something has happened in transit. That's not how God created it, because everything he created was good, top notch, excellent. So every child is born a genius. It is in the parenting, the process of raising them, we miss the mark. So reading is not just a subject, it's the foundation for academic success, right? Strong reading skills are linked to better performance in all school subjects. Yes, all of them. You already know why. We talked about how reading supports literacy. Now let's look at how it improves academic performance. Reading improves comprehension, which is key for understanding test questions and textbooks, and even understanding the concepts that are being taught. It encourages critical thinking, writing ability. So you say that part of the benefits of reading for academic performance are similar to the one for literacy, right? The one for cognitive development. So reading, I'm going to show you how reading, I said the topic here, the topic of this page is how reading transforms your child from inside out. So every area of this child is going to be touched by these singular habits. Reading regularly is the silent engine behind every good grade. So you want a better academic performance, turn your child into a reader. That is why we're here. Please, our focus today is not to talk about the child that will pick a book on Monday and then visit it in the next Monday. No. The goal, I like to start a process with an objective at the end. The end goal is that you will beg your child and say, "Mama, please keep the book. Please now, your food is on fire. Leave the book." That is how we want to shape our families starting from today. From the comment section, let me see who feels excited about this, who thinks that this is possible, is good to have. Let me see some of your comments again. Your comments give me the ginger to keep flowing, right? So let me see who thinks that this end goal is good to have, or who wants to have this kind of end goal. You want your child to become a reader. You yourself, you want to become a reader, right? Let me see. Let me see. It's possible, Dr. Julia. Thank you. It's very possible. Yes, and we're going to talk more about it. Duncan, thank you. Ruby, hi, Ruby. Choma, yes, yes, thank you very much. So we move. For some reason, my button just, the thing is when you've planned for something for so long, every other thing wants to fight against it. I'm having such experience because my keypad won't move this slide at the speed of my mind, and it's slowing me down. I don't like it. So just bear with me while I fight with this. Let's see. Okay, I have another button to use. Now, let's talk about emotional intelligence. You see that child that has a rage, a child that flares up at every single thing. The ch Please, the focus of the class is on children, but everything I'm saying here applies to us as parents. But I want us to start with the children, okay? I also want, because if I talk to parents alone, then I'm not sure that they would, I mean, the children, I can get a chance to talk to the children. So that's why I made this course for children, but I want to talk to parents because it is you I can get through to reach your children. The child that throws tantrums, you see that tantrum zone? Please, let's pay attention to this slide. Reading acts as a safe mirror and a window. A mirror for children to better understand themselves and a window to understand others. 2 or 3 Sundays ago, I had one of my live webinar and live YouTube um, live streams. I do that. We do that every last month of the month. So if you looking for how to relax on a Sunday evening, that is the last Sunday, please visit our YouTube channel. Admin, can you help us put it in the chat room? We have the playlist there. Go there. Instead of Netflixing and relaxing, learn about reading with your family and relax also, right? So in one of those sessions, I talked about the skills, 7 skills of readers, and one of those skills was emotional intelligence. So while it is a skill that boosts reading, it also so while it is a tool that builds emotional intelligence, right? The reading also helps to improve emotional intelligence. So it's also another two-way cycle, right? Reading plays a powerful role in developing a child's EI or EQ, which is the ability to understand, very important, manage, and express emotions. Let me show you how. Understanding emotions. Many children are angry. They don't know what is wrong. They don't know why they're angry because they don't know the right emotions to express how they feel. And that's not the right thing. I need to run faster now, right? A child who reads is exposed to a wide variety of vocabulary, right? When I was teaching my children about emotions management, I started by teaching them how to name their emotions. And we had a wheel chart. A lot of, I mean, who knows that there are over 50 emotions, but many of us, we just know happy, sad. What else again? Happy, sad, angry. But there are many other ways. So sometimes a child might be upset, but they're not angry. They're just maybe feeling disappointed. They're just feeling low. But when children are not exposed to a variety of languages to express themselves, then they are limited. And then that's a child that throws tantrums because they don't know how to say how they're feeling inside. And you can't help someone who you don't see their inside. Reading increases self-awareness. It exposes them to the world, to life, and then they begin to realize who they are, what they are here for, what they really want for themselves. It improves emotional expression. Already talked about that. Now, strengthens social skills. Let me tell you how. So, you're in a gathering and there's a conversation about a particular topic. It is you that has read or know about that topic that can contribute, right? You can't chime in when you don't like, you're clueless about what is being talked about, right? But a child who is able to sustain conversations, who is a wide reader, will be able to talk about a little bit of everything, a little bit of everything, right? So that's how reading strengthens social skills. You're able to communicate, build social connections. The child is confident, is able to mix with people. It builds empathy, it teaches coping and resilience, and the rest of them. I'm going to have to run really fast because we still have a lot more to go. Now, it sparks connection and family bonding. This right here is your game changer as a parent. You see, the topic of connection, please let's take it seriously, right? I remember a book I read by Coach Wendy Ologi. She's my mentor. It's called Connect to Correct. And all what she talked about in that book is how to connect with your child for better communication, for better disciplining, for better instruction, for better parenting generally. Connection is the game changer. You can only correct a child that you connect with. You can only raise a child that you connect with. And when I say raise a child and nurture a child, I don't mean that, oh, the child is just in your house, eats rice and beans, semo, burger, and all of them, you know. But that child cannot open up their mouth and tell you stuff. They don't look forward to coming back to you. They don't hug you endlessly. They don't, I mean, that is what connection can do. I'm taking my time to explain this connection because it's a big deal in parenting, and I believe I'm talking to parents or aspiring parents. So connection is a game changer, and I have that book. The reader's gonna has this book, Connect to Correct, in the bookstore. Um, if you're interested in it, it's a great game changer in parenting. The child that you're trying to correct or teach stuff or discipline and they're being heady, please, there is something lacking in connection. Connection is deeper than being present. Connection is being present and the child feels that you are present. Many of us were out in the park. Oh, it's our family evening bonding time. We're out in the park, but we have our telephone, I mean hand phone. The hand phone gets more of the connection than the child. That's not connection. So you might want to get a copy of that book. The Connect to Correct is as simple as it sounds, but that book would help you to see different ways to connect with a child through your presence, through the relationship, through communication, and through your modeling, what you do with the child, how you show them that they mean so much to you. Connection creates reading together is love in action. It creates quality time, builds a shared routine, encourages meaningful conversations. Vera needs to run quickly now. Okay. Yeah, strengthens emotional bonds, shows interest in the child's world, creates lifelong memories. Memories are what will make your children come back home when it's time for them to go. Like when they don't have any reason to come back, they are big enough, they have started their own life. It is the memories you created that will determine how fast they run back home to see you every evening. Many parents, we get this part wrong. We think it's just about hustling. We're busy, busy, busy chasing money, of course, to make things right. But your child values your presence more than your gifts, more than the money, more than the good schools, more than everything you're buying. They want you to be present in their lives. This is where the memories stick, and they always remember how you made them feel when they were children. So moving to the next one, reading consistently helps cultivate the love for learning. We want to raise a child who is curious about life, about the world that they are in, a child who thinks fast, a child who is a speed smart thinker, right? It sparks curiosity. It builds the habit of independent learning. It encourages a growth mindset, reinforces continuous learning across subjects. Now, let me pause a bit on continuous learning. So I remember when maybe like 5 years ago when I was drawing up like our family values, because we have values in my family that we stand for. One of them I put there was continuous learning, and it was strategic. I don't want to raise a child who finishes school and throws away everything about reading, because that was me so many years ago. That was me. Yes, I was very good in school, came out the best student in my class. But I was also in the WhatsApp group of people who, the moment you finish exam, you burn your clothes. You say, if you catch me reading again, call me this one, call me that. I was like that. And that is the wrongest thing for a child to do, because learning never stops. So when a child is graduating from reading English and maths and they are happy, there's a problem. If you have a child who has done that, there's a problem in the process. You want to raise a child who sees the end of school session as just the end of a particular phase and the beginning of a next phase. Not that if you catch me reading again, call me this one, call me. And this helps, I mean, it goes a long way in building what children become eventually. I'll tell you a little story. So recently, there's a big mama that I respect so much. So she's a nurse, and she graduated with the people who graduated recently in May in my province. And I went to greet her in the house, like, congratulations, ma, happy for you, and all of that. And I asked her a question that, and she's quite old, at least her kids are in their 20s. So I was like, it must really be tough for you going back to school at this age, coupled with schooling in diaspora. I know how it can be, right? Because I know a couple of people who schooled here, and all they tell you, it was so tough. Hey, to juggle. Do you know what this woman told me? She told me that nope, it wasn't like that for her. That it was a sweet, smooth sail. That she was gonna miss school. And I asked her why. She said, because since I left degree over 20 years ago, I've not stopped reading. This is a real life story. I've not stopped learning. That's what she said. So it's not the end of an era when your child graduates and they throw away the hat and they lock up. Say, if you catch me with any book, there's a big problem. Take that away from this class today. So look at how that helped. Reading helped this woman 20 years later. She went back to school. She didn't complain. I know many of us on this call know people who have finished masters, and when you ask them, it's like, oh my god, that is because, look at it closely, those people are not readers. They are not curious. They don't have a mindset, a growth. No, 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 I don't want to say that one. It's not about growth mindset. It's about consistently reading. Something went wrong, and I'm not blaming it on anybody. I'm just saying that this is how it can impact our lives further years down the line. We parents, all we are going to do is to correct our mistakes, but we have an opportunity to give these children an advantage to start it right. So let the love of learning dwell in your homes. That is one of my family values. Continuous learning. Learning never stops. Everywhere you are, look, you're learning something new. You're curious, you're asking questions, you're reading age appropriate materials. Right. So it prepares children for a changing world. It builds a love for knowledge. I will run quickly now. What makes your reader child stand out? Like that girl that came to the Reader's Corner stand during the career day. She was different. I can never forget that girl. Amongst other people, some other people asked some questions. They said, oh, their parents read with them and all of that. But her question was strategic. Like, I want to know why to choose this career or not to choose this career. Because I went there as a bookseller. By the way, the Reader's Corner has a bookstore in Canada where we sell all types of Christian literature, self-help resources, Bibles, devotionals, journals, everything readable, right? And recently we're launching our bedtime stories because we want to prevent the Matthew effect for some parents who still have the opportunity start reading for their children at early ages, bedtime stories, right? So, some of the key qualities that make a reader child stand out. One, rich vocabulary and clear expression. The child is not stuttering when it's time to talk. There's no ambiguity in what they say. They are not thinking about responses for too long. They are always curious. They are creative in thinking and they have focused attention. They are deeply empathic, emotionally strong. They speak confidently and they love learning. I want to believe that is the kind of child that every parent in this course would like to raise. Right. So let's take just 2 minutes talk about we as a parent, as parents. Because when you're reading for a child, I don't want to, the reason I added this part of the slide is I don't want you to think that, oh, it's just about this child. Abi, let me just be reading it for them. Maybe they said it to help, da 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 da. I just want to do it for them. Oh. No, I want to let you know what happens to you too as you read with your child and for your child, and as you encourage them to read by themselves also. It expands your knowledge and perspective, right? It boosts mental sharpness and speed of thoughts. It improves focus and mental clarity. Many parents, there's a lot going on and you find it hard to focus on one thing at a time. Do I start? So some hours leading up to this course, I was a bit perplexed because some things I wanted were not really in place. And I had to take a deep breath and I said, Vera, you got this. Remember, my brain has been firing and wiring back to back because I'm a reader. I read every day of my life, at least as long as I'm alive, right? So I had to just take a deep and I'm like, okay, what do I need to do first? Get this sorted, get that sorted, get this sorted. And here we are having a beautiful time in this course. That is what can happen to you when you commit to a habit of reading. It deepens spiritual growth. This topic is a big topic. I'm going to have to create a different section or session to talk about how reading deepens your spiritual growth. The next slide is going to talk about it a little bit. And by the way, reading consistently, right, is not an option, especially for Christians that are on this call. It is a divine mandate. God Himself commanded you and I to read consistently by telling us in Joshua 1:8, this book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth. Thou shalt meditate on it day and night. Please, dear participants, how can you meditate on something that you've not read? No way. You first have to know it. How do you know it? By listening to it or by reading it. Then you begin to reflect and ponder. So it's a command for you to read. And there are countless scriptures in the Bible where God commands us to read like our lives depend on it. When the Bible says wisdom is the principal thing in all thy getting, it was not a joke now. Come on. It is only what you read that will make you know. It is what you know that will make you wise. It's what you know and apply that becomes wisdom. So when it says get wisdom, oh my God, when I was doing this research, I came across over 50 scriptures so far that me and you are reading. Oh, I'll show you some in the next slide that talks about the benefits of reading, seeking knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. The three of them are the handbags of reading consistently. They're inside the handbag. Like you can't separate the two of them. The three of them see knowledge, wisdom, understanding, and reading consistently. Okay, it guarantees financial success. Yes, I read a book and the title was Readers Are Rich. No, is it Readers Are Rich or Readers Are Rich or something like that? And what that author was talking about was linking poverty. You see, this poverty, lack of money, linking it to poor reading habits, right? The one who reads is richer any day, anytime. Why? Because one author also said money is an idea. Money, income is an idea. How much do you know that can translate to money? That is it, simple. The billionaires and the millionaires of our times right now, there's something they know differently. Then they get a team to put it together and push it out as a product, and we're buying it, and they are getting richer. So money is an idea. I quite understand many parents are here. We're struggling, juggling, especially those in diaspora like me, trying to get things together. It's tough. But that same money you're chasing is inside the book you have not read. That is very true. Please let's put it on the comment section. The money that you're chasing is inside a book that you've not read. And that is very true. Very, very true. Time will not permit me to talk more on all of these topics. I just try to, summarize as much as I can. Yet I still have too many slides. There's just a lot to talk about, right? Reading is not an option. It's not an option. Thank you, Mrs. Abimbola. Right? The money you're chasing is in the book you have not read. Yeah, so the money you're chasing is inside that book that you've not opened for 5 years. And mind you, just a backstory about myself. I haven't always been a reader like this. I am just also in the process. I'm growing every day in it, right? But I've gotten to a point where I realized that if I was given a chance to take back the hands of time, I would have started reading so many years ago. The money you're chasing is in the book that you have not read. That is the truth. How? Money is an idea. Ideas come from what you know. How do you know without reading? You see, it's a cycle again. So you read, you know more, you have an idea, you push it out as a product, we buy your product, you get richer. So I want at the end of this course, let us parents go away with an urgency to boost reading habits in our various homes. Take it as a challenge. Boost reading habits. Boost reading habits. Because it makes your life easier. It makes your children's life easier. It makes everyone's life easier. It boosts parenting confidence. Yes, let me tell you how. Oh my God. Oh, 1 hour gone already. It boosts parenting confidence. Let me tell you why. This part, right? Children, our beautiful children, they admire wise parents. They want a parent who knows stuff. My daughter, she's 9. She turned 9 in March. Sometimes, like, she just throws questions from nowhere. You people will be talking about vegetable in the kitchen. This girl will just throw one abstract question at you, unprepared. How do you navigate those times when you have not read any parenting book, not even one? How? And you can afford to give your children summary answer, no, surface level answers. You have to show depth. Like when my daughter throws some questions at me, you know what I tell her? I'll tell her, I love this question you've asked me. Can we book a time to talk about it? Why? Because I have 10 pages of work to talk to her about it. So I don't rush our conversations. I tell her, oh, don't worry, I like this question. I'll just take my notepad and I note it down. And then we book up because we have a time that we spend together, me and her, me and the other boy. And then I teach her. Like when I teach her like from an authoritative level. Like I have authority in this thing. I have the information. Why? Because I read parenting books. I belong to the Intentional Parents Academy, which is an academy for teaching parents how to raise their children as kings and queens that will change the world and not as mere men. That academy, we read a parenting book at least one every month of your life. So that means in 12 months, I've read 12 books on different topics. Many of us parents, we have pre-teenage children. We haven't even read one book on puberty. How do you want to teach this child when you don't know it? And we can't afford to use the knowledge from when you were raised to teach a child now. That's a flawed system already. It won't work. There's gonna be conflict because the world has changed significantly. So that is why we read parenting books, most current parenting books, very recent. What is happening? Technology, in all of those things, how digital distractions are invading families. I mean, different topics, puberty, sex conversations. I mean, reading guarantees boost parenting confidence. And when you have that confidence, you're able to tell a child what to do. Now, there's something I started teaching my children lately. Because when I tell them what to do, because we bond a lot, we connect a lot, they just start doing it. I had to teach them, no, something is missing here. Ask me why when I tell you what to do. Don't run and go and do it. I want you to be more curious. I want you to know that, yeah, you're at liberty to ask people why you should do something. It's not rude, it's just being curious, it's just having a sharp mind. So, parenting confidence, if you're in this call, you're struggling with your children, instructions, activities. I mean, it's just quarrel, like things. It's not, especially teenage ones and all of that. Go and read how to parent. There is a way to parent. We cannot parent how we were parented. There's advanced knowledge now. There's advanced information. So parenting confidence, there are some areas, if you notice, I take my time to emphasize on because I know that those are the struggles I encounter with parents who come to me like, Vera, how do you do this? This is my child. Parenting confidence, you need to be full up here to raise a child that can change the world. You need to be fully loaded mentally. Information on my child is just 9. We have talked about puberty, like the way I've even, in fact, every day she's like, hey, when will this my period come? Because I've given her all the information that she needs, age appropriate, of course. Why? Because I have the information. And for me, nobody taught me. I just woke up one morning. I just, so we can't afford to raise. That's why I say you can't raise the child how you were raised. But for me, I know that I wasn't raised perfectly, like it was good, but it could have been better. So I'm using myself to correct all of those parenting errors. So if you haven't been reading parenting books, this is your call to action. Start, even if it's once in 3 months or once in a month. Read something about the child that you're raising. You love this child so much, don't you? So why are you not making any effort to get knowledge to raise them in a different way? Why? And it doesn't end in paying lesson teacher or putting them in the best school. No. Let me say something shortly about the law of first mention, how it works. A child picks and runs with the first information they get about any concept. A child, that first time they heard about kissing, for example, that's the perspective they will take for a long time. It will be hard for you to change it. Let me give an example. A child comes from school and you tell them, maybe you are doing homework together, and then you say, 1 plus 1 is 4. But the child has heard in school that 1 plus 1 is 2. Do you know that that child will argue with you? Say, I'm sure many of you experience it. Say, no, mommy, they told us that 1 plus 1 is 4. No, no, no. It will take, even though that your own is the correct one, but the teacher is wrong, it will take you, it's harder to convince that child that your own is correct. That's the law of first mention. So as parents, we need to be the first to tell our children the valuable information they want to hear. Crush, sex, I mean, age appropriate. I'm not saying that a 2-year-old should start talking about sex, right? Age appropriate. And all of this have been written back down by authors to help you step by step. At which age, what should I teach? The Reader's Corner has a lot. We have over 50 collection of books on parenting. Talk about connecting, discipline strategies, talk about emotional regulation, talk about financial literacy for children, all for parents to read. So if you need any of those copies, the admin will also put the link to our Shopify store where you can pick. We have a category called a collection called Parenting with Ease and with Peace and Calm. Books on parenting, calm parenting. It's there, right? So the more you read, the more you realize that, oh, this is where I'm missing it with this child. Oh, this is how much I should have said when I taught this part. So reduce stress. Reading is a way to relax the nerves after the days, hustling, all of the traffic for those in traffic areas, all the hard times you have outside. When you come back home, reading relaxes the nerves, right? It has a way of calming your nerves because the brain understands that, okay, the day is shutting down. Let me get something new to read. It improves mental health and it models healthy habits for children. We'll talk about this when we move further. Oh, Vera, move faster, move faster, move faster. So before, okay, let me talk about here. Yeah. I talked about the what God says about reading. Now look at the biblical promises for child readers. If you're raising a child reader, let me tell you what the Bible said will happen to your child. That child will have safety and preservation. It's the same Bible that we're reading. It's in Proverbs chapter 4, verse it says, stay close to wisdom, and she will keep you safe. Love her, and she will watch over you. Wisdom, again, is reading. Exposure to knowledge is reading. Number two, somebody is drawing on my whiteboard. Please stop it. Long life, riches, and honor. I talked about riches already. Long life is in her hand, is in her right hand. In her left hand are riches and honor. This part is the ending part of the beginning, which talked about you should get wisdom and knowledge because long life is in her right hand. In her left hand are riches and honor. Favor from God and man. That child that is reading in Proverbs chapter 3, verse 4, it says, then you will find favor and a good name in the eyes of God and people. That is what happens when a child is a reader. And then it talks about fearlessness. How many of us are raising children who are afraid? Sometimes they tell them to go down and get something. They are like, please follow me and all of that. The Bible promises that when you're a reader seeking knowledge, you will find when you lie down, you won't be afraid. And then the sweetest part I like is the sweet sound sleep. When you lie down, you will sleep soundly. I didn't write this. This is from the Bible. All of them are this is just a few. I have over 50 more. I just wanted to manage this slide, right? The time our time is fast spent. Oh my god. Tell me in the comment section what do we keep going? Do we keep going? Are you enjoying yourself so far? I am enjoying myself. Tell me in the comment section, please. Tell me before we go into why children struggle to read for fun. That is why reading doesn't come easy for so many children. Tell me how I'm doing so far. Keep going. Go on, go on, go on. I like it. Thank you. Please keep going. Tell me, keep going. Thank you, Ma. Keep going. Thank you very much. Thank you. I want to apologize for not skipping to the time, but I'm so passionate about this and I'm so honored to have all of you on the call. So I'm not going to bust this opportunity. I'm going to just give you all of it as it's coming. Thank you so much, precious Lisha. Why children struggle to read for fun? You see that child that who's writing on my whiteboard that doesn't like to read? There's a reason. And now when you know the why, I'm going to teach you how to help that child. Number one culprit, digital distraction. We already know this, right? Digital distraction. This survey says that 49% of parents ranked electronics as the biggest barrier to reading. It's number one, oga bata bata. You see, tablets, phone, laptops, they are the ones that you need to start fighting this battle with. First of all, we'll go down and see more of it. The research also says that children's reading volume drop notably with age. So older kids read less than younger kids. As they get older, they get more distracted. Children aged 8 to 12 spend an average of 5 hours a day on screens. Screens, games, social media, and other entertainment often seem more exciting than books. That is it. That's the number one distraction. Why? There's no excitement in reading. Children are looking for fun. Children are players by nature. In fact, I read a book and the author said the work of a child is play. The way you have your book, your job, risk manager, Abby, nurse and doctor, a child's job is to play. I will come to that. I will come to that. So anything that doesn't help them to play, they will run away from it. That's why your child is not reading if they are not reading. There's no play attached to that reading. I'm going to show you why. Let's move quickly. Lack of interest or motivation is another barrier. And it can be caused by low confidence, fear of failure, negative associations. If reading is only discipline or performance, purpose, confusion, they don't even know why they need to read. So this lack of interest is another part that we need to attack and let these children get interested. I will show you how to do that. limited access to appealing books. So what happens here is, as parents, we as far we know more than the children there, that's okay. But when it comes to reading, we need to allow the child, please, who is drawing on the whiteboard? That's unfair. And if you're allowing your child to use the device, that's also not cool. Please, can we stop it? Thank you. So we try to, like, we know what is good for our child, and then we give them the books that they should read. That's another problem. For reading, we need to allow the child choose what they want to read. So that's another a secret I'm giving to you. Allow your child to choose what they want to read. Remember, you want to establish or unlock the reading habits. Allow them to derive pleasure. That's what they're looking for. Fun. Of course, I'm not saying you should not supervise. They should not go and take books on different ideas and be reading, but allow them make the choice. Interest ignites curiosity. If children haven't found books they enjoy, reading feels like a chore rather than a fun activities. We don't want that. We want a child who are going to be begging to stop reading, right? That's what we agreed. That's the goal that we agreed today, right? Another barrier is learning differences. We need to understand that some children learn at different paces. Some of them also have learning differences or learning difficulties like dyslexia, ADHD, language processing disorders, and all of that. We need to understand that some of these things, they were born with it, and we need to also get them specialized support when we notice that, right? It's not just more practice, not load the child with some more books, but get them specialized support if you need to notice any of these learning differences. Then short attention span or low stamina. Of course, we already know that children have that by nature. Their attention span is very short, which is why reading helps them to build more attention. And then the poor reading culture at home. This is the second oga bata bata after digital distraction. This one. Sorry, I didn't mean to attack also as parents, so but it's the truth. Many of us know they read nothing. I was like that, so I'm saying because I know how hard it can be to pick up a book. Look, today I read every day. So many years ago, I was reading one book in 5 years. In fact, there are some books I started in 10 years and I've not even finished them. So I can totally understand how busy life can be, right? Which is why I started this establishment to be that voice calling parents back to order. Don't leave this aspect of your life. Your family's life, your children's life depend on it. Children attach importance to what they see being treated as important by their parents. If reading is not part of the daily routine or modeled by adults, children may not see it as important. Inconsistent parental support will lead to inconsistent reading habits. Shikina. It's what they see you do that they replicate, right? It's what they see you do that they replicate. So, so now this is the heart of our conversation today. This is a concise presentation. I had it more loaded than this. I had to discipline myself to cut. Now, what I've done, because I know there's no way 1 hour can be enough for me to explain all of these things, I put it together in a guide, a short, beautiful, nice guide, right? Some of the things that I had and lots more that I had to take out, right? I'm going to show you details about that guide after this course, but many of what I've talked here are abridged, trust me. So when you see 3 points, know that there are 7 more that I've taken off because I need to manage the slide and my time and also your time and your attention. Number one way to spark that reading love for reading in your child is to create a family media plan. Please, I want us to indicate in the chat if you have a family media plan in your home. Please, let's see. Let's see. Let's see. If you have a media plan just guides the family on how to use media. Do you have a plan in place? Let me see your comments in the comment. Okay, Olanike has. Teme mba. Teme no get them. It's okay. Okay, I see people have. Yeah, Ola has. Abidags have. Excellent. Chinwe doesn't have. No problem. That's why you're in this course now. The first liberation that you can get as a parent is to establish rules around your home. You are the owner of the home. You call the shots in that house. So you need to put together what works and what does not work. What does a family media plan does for you? It protects what matters. Family time, builds digital habits early, and reduces conflict and power struggles. Look, when a child doesn't know when they need to get on the screen, then they wake up in the morning and they get on it, and then you start shouting. But when a child knows there's a time set for screen time, you do this exercise once and your life is better forever. You come together as a family. You decide, especially if you have bigger children now, you have to then interact with them and get their buy-in. If you have smaller children, you discuss it with them. You're not looking for their opinion because they don't know much. Create a media plan. What does the media plan contain? Your family values and goals. What do you stand for as a family? It is my mentor, Wendy Ologe, she would say, families are created for the fulfillment of purpose and prophecy. So there is no purpose when there is no value or goals. I mean, a family, we're not just families because we want to raise children, put them to, take them to the best schools, feed them and all, dress them well. No, God brought you and your husband together to have a child, to change the world. Ask yourself, how is my family changing the world of today? Right? And it begins with a value. What do you stand for? Earlier on, you heard me mentioning about my family value is continuous learning. That's one. So my children already know what we are working towards as a family. When they see any direction that is off that value, my daughter will call me, mommy, this thing will not take us where we're going because we know where we're going as a family. So it begins with your family values and your goals. Then, most importantly, it has daily and weekly screen time limits based on a child's age and needs. So, on you can put their names and say, "Oh, Informa, screen time, 1 hour every day." That kind of thing. It has screen free times. So there are times in the house where it is forbidden to be on the screen, just like in my house. You don't wake up in the morning and then you carry any form of device, whether it's even praise and worship you're watching. Because my son, very tricky. Sometimes he will come say, "Ah, mommy." I mean, he just woke up, he has done his morning routine, and then he said, "Mommy, especially this holiday, hey, can we not play praise and worship?" I know that's a trap. From praise and worship, you go enter advert, you go enter Mickey Mouse and all of that. So no. So there are screen free times. You have to establish screen free times. When are you not allowed to watch screen? For example, 1 hour before bedtime. You shouldn't watch the screen 1 hour before bedtime. It's scientifically proven that it reduces or it bothers the brain about sending you to sleep because you're having screen, your senses are supercharged, whereas you're trying to wind down for the day. So there are two conflicting activities and your brain gets confused. That's why many people struggle to sleep. I don't want to enter this topic. Screen free zones. There are screen free zones. You guys, do you know? There are some places that your children should not be found with phones. You see, bathrooms, I'm sure your guess is as good as mine. You already know where I'm going with the bathrooms part, especially for bigger children. They are not allowed, they shouldn't be allowed to have phones in the bathroom because you know what happens. I don't want to talk about that part. That's a topic on sex conversations, right? You don't want them to have phones on the dining table. We're eating and connecting, and then you're pressing your phone. We don't do that in my home. We already established it. In fact, sometimes when I really have to respond to some clients and all of that, and I have to take permission from my children and say, please, just give me 2 minutes. Let me respond to this person and tell them I will chat them back. That's when I'm on the table. Because my children already know that devices on the table is rude. You're being rude to the other people who are eating with you because that's the time to bond. Then a family media value has acceptable and unacceptable type of media. Do we as parents allow, I mean, we say that allow our children to watch everything that comes, everything, just taking everything, messing up the child's mind, everything. And trust me, the business guys out there, they don't care much about our children. No, they don't. No, they don't. They're just getting richer, and our children's minds are getting worse. So that's where the parenting energy or parenting authority comes to play. You have to say no. This kind of media cannot be played in my home. I give you examples. Horror movies. I'm telling you these things from my own media plan in the house and examples of what is possible. Horror movies, unacceptable. All this shooting, killing, media that is not age appropriate. We have sieved all of those and we told ourselves no. So my children, before they get on a program they want to watch, they check. I taught them how to check the age, because the good thing is that these people who make this content, they let you know who it is for. But the problem is that many of us parents are too busy to check, so we just hand them over the device and leave them to go. Whereas the person who made this said this video has some scenes of violence, sexual nudity, and back back back. They put it there, and then they put parental guidance encouraged, or they put 18 and above. But your child is 10 and they are watching those things. That is danger. So in this guide I'm talking about, we've also crafted a sample editable family media plan template. It is very easy, in very easy language. You can get on it and discuss with your children, decide what works and what doesn't work. Acceptable media example. So we do Bible stories, we do educative story content, we do documentaries. You see those ones that sharpen their mind, makes them stand out, makes their thinking faculty to be on fire. Those are the ones that we encourage. And of course, entertainment, but age appropriate entertainment. You're not allowed to get on what doesn't work for you. I'll tell you another story. So one time we traveled, right? Some time ago, we traveled for our family vacation, and where we stayed, one of the places that we visited didn't have this family media plan. So the children were allowed to watch anything and everything. They were just watching away. And I had a very busy pre-activity that period. So I was always in the room, just trying to catch my breath, and also while preparing for this course. And my daughter would come and lie down with me, which is not typical of a 10-year-old. It's 9 or 10. She's 9. A 9-year-old. Forgive me, I'm always pushing her forward for as she's 10, she's 9 now. She came to me and she'll be on the bed. I'm like, why are you here? Go to the living room, go and mix up with the other children. She said, no, mommy. What they are watching does not align with our media plan. Oh, I mean, you can imagine how I felt as a mother. You can imagine it. Like, I'm like, okay, so this thing I'm teaching is actually working. So you mean you can forfeit a screen time and come and lie down on the bed and do nothing just because it does not align? Because that, unfortunately, the children were watching shooting, killing, it's part of cartoon now, games and all of that. But she already knows that she has been wired that this is not for your eyes, because I'm very particular about maintaining and protecting their mind. So she excused herself. That is what having a plan in your home can do for you. So I have put together something very simple, especially for beginners, no ambiguity. It's also in that guide. I'm going to get to the guide when we get to the slide of it. That's your number one. Your number one tool is what? Please, can someone commit to putting this in the comment section for me? Number one is create a family media plan. Guide your child on when to use media. And what it does for you is, when they have limited time for screen, they have more time for reading. And the reading we're talking about is not just reading for fun. See, the moment when you take away screen from a child, you see that boredom. That is what you need. My coach said once, she said, boredom is where creativity is. So allow the child to be bored of the screen, and then they will find something else to do. We're coming, right? Now, remove and replace. That's the point I'm talking about now. Nature abhors vacuum. It also applies in the family. Parents need to intentionally replace excess screen time with more beneficial alternatives that encourage creativity, connection, and learning. So, in this guide that we're launching, I think it's about 60 non-screen fun activities that you can play with your child, or they can play alone. 60 distinct ones. So there's no more excuse that, oh, I'm busy. Okay, let me just give them the screen. No, you can be busy and your child is also not on screen, right? 60 of them. Put that together. I put that together with the team and I said, look at this. We need to give parents an alternative. Of course, we don't expect parents to resign and stay at home and be watching their children. They have to get a life. But while you're getting a life, please let us not destroy our children with screens, please. So here we have indoor fun activities and outdoor fun activities. In that guide, I broke it down into family time activities, mental development activities. There's a way I broke it down really that it depends on what you want part time. If you want to entertain the child, these are the examples of games that you can pick from there, right? If you want the child to learn, these are the ones that you pick. So, but for again, for the purpose of time and teaching, I've everything together as indoor and outdoor activities. So you have the examples there. I don't want to read them aloud. You have the read aloud, you have reading blocks, Connect 4, Play-Doh, Joker, Jenga. And at this point is the point I want to mention and encourage parents to invest in games in your home. Please spend more money on games than you spend on your children's clothes. Yes, because when a child's mind is sharper than the body, that child will grow up to make more money to even buy cartons of those clothes you're buying for them. Spend more money feeding your child's mind. Any activity that will strengthen a child's mind should be in your shopping cart. Not only designer clothes and shoes. I'm saying this because it's gonna cost you money. In my home, some of my friends, they borrow games from my house. They come say they borrow games. Do you understand what I mean? Right? Because I've understood the essence of games, what it does to children is unimaginable. So when you're taking away screen, please, it will be unfair to leave that child without an alternative. Please. I want to ask you to, for just 1 minute, let me take a water break. I've spoken for almost 90 minutes and my voice is beginning to crack. So I'm just going to try to put up my video for just a minute and grab water and I'll be back. Please, do I have your permission for this? Let me know if I have your permission. I know we've spent a lot of
Please
time,
go
but we're getting to
ahead.
the end.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Thank you so
Yes,
much.
ma. Go ahead, please.
Thank you. I appreciate your feedback. So let me do this right now. Yes, I'm back. Thank you, everyone. Okay, I see a
Welcome back.
chart. A chart to say we need idea of screen replacement for teenagers. Like I said, in the guide that I've prepared, I have 60 of them. Between 50 and 60, I need to double check. But that means you have above 50 ideas of screen replacement for everyone in the family. All right. So let me go to the next. The next how. How do we help these children become better readers? Very interesting part. Build your home library. Build your own, build your own, build your own. Like have a library in your house. Yes, yes. I always like to refer to this quote by Robin Sharma, the author of the 5 a.m. Club. He says victims have big libraries. Oh no. Victims have big TVs, while leaders own large libraries. I say that again. Victims have big TVs and screens. Leaders own large libraries. So if you want your child to be a leader, stand out, perform outstandingly, build them a library. The ultimate goal, no, I don't want to talk about choosing for books are the most important items in your toolbox in raising children who become lifelong readers. So why I put this point is you don't want to buy two books and say, oh yeah, we want to be reading culture, come and read now. Read. No. You want a child to see books littered in the house. It's communicating to them that we are in for reading in this home. Now, let me stop here and say something. Earlier this year, my children, they belong to different mentorship programs, because I believe in starting very early, right? So they belong to different mentorship programs, and my daughter's own, they get them an assignment before the beginning of this year, that they should write down their big audacious goal. Like, what's that big thing you want to do and shake 2025? Let me tell you what my daughter said. And this is a real life story. She said, Mommy, I want to finish 50 books this year. We were not talking about reading at that point. We're talking about vision for 2025. And that's what she said to me. And then I sat back and I reflected, how did I get here? To raise a child who is thinking about finishing 50. That means one book per month, per week, because there are 52 weeks in a year. So she wants to read one book. And let me shock you that it doesn't stop there. As I speak to you, that child has read over 35 already. So she has 15 more to go, and the month still has about 5 months to go. So by calculation, she's going to be doing like 60, 70 books. And when I say 50 books, our own reading is different too. We don't just read and then we close the book and keep it and move. No, you have to journal what you've read in your reading log. So she does that. Out of those 35 that she has read, she has put them down, the title, the author, and one line lesson, right? Pardon me if I do too much examples with my family, but I have to talk about what I know, what I'm seeing, not what hearsay. So all the strategies I'm teaching in this class are the things that got me to the point where that girl asked me that question, how she wants to finish 50 books. So imagine a child wants to read 50, and then you have that 13 or 2 or 4 in the house. I'm not saying you should pour all your money in buying books. All I'm saying is that from today, when you're passing a bookstore, please don't go left. Enter into that door that says enter. Go and look into it. Spend $10, spend 15,000, 25,000. Buy books. Like, buy books, literally buy books for the children. Remember, the goal is to raise readers, to raise a reader child who loves reading. So this is the third step. And in this building the home library, there are two things I like to talk about. That is selecting the right books and keeping them in sight. So you select the right books for the child. Now, in selecting the right books, there are different ways. You have to look at the age and the format. So for in different ages and format, let me try to speak through the different categories. Yeah. So for age and format, you have examples. You have board books, which are for infants and toddlers. You have picture books for preschoolers. You have early readers and all of that. You have chapter books. You have middle grade books. You have young adult novels. So you need to know the type, the category, your age, child's age, and the category that works for them. By looking at it by genre, you have the fiction, non-fiction, fantasy, adventure, mystery, science fiction, and others. For purpose, you have to look at, is it educational? You want to buy educational books, you want to buy social emotional learning books, you want to buy religious or moral stories, you want to buy activity books. So it depends on, so all of this consideration. So you don't just go to a bookstore and just picking. You need to know what you want per time. And um I think something is missing. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So when you know all of this, so that's what helps in selecting the right books. Now, part of what I have in the guide, I said guidelines for choosing the right books for your child. The first one is interest. You need to know what this child is interested in and give it to them. A child that likes cars, that likes dinosaurs, a good way to catch them is to buy them books in that topic. That way, you've cut your journey shorter to raising a reader. They just hop in because they're interested. Another guiding rule is age. You need to also be considerate about the child's age. Purpose and values. What does this book contain? Does it support our family values? Is it okay for them? Then your own, and then the quality of the books. How is the author? Who is the author? How do they do their writing? How much do they know? What's their own school of thought? What's their own ideology about life? You also have to look at diversity and variety. So many of us, we want to stay and say, oh, just read your book, English and maths and further maths and literature. No, variety. Or just read some families have children who are readers, but they are only reading novels. there's is lacking some balance. While it is fantastic, it's better than a child who is not reading, but it lacks balance. So you need to balance it. Let them read different, like those genres I talked about. Let them read a lot of them. All of these are detailed in the guide. I do not have enough time to speak on all of these things again. But I said the reader's corner has curated book lists for families targeted at specific ages and topics. We have a Shopify link where you can go there. The books have been categorized already for children, for preteens, for young adults, for parents, right? Stuff like that to guide you. The second part of this um building your home library. So for me, I also had to get a shelf, a mini shelf. I think I got it from Walmart online. A mini shelf. I set it up and I begin to put their books one at a time. If I buy two today, I put it there. If I buy three, I put it there. But let them see that there's a standard in this house, which is reading. And then they see the books all arranged nicely. The next part of this is keep books in sight. Keep the books in sight. Keep the book in sight.
Okay.
So I made a parent one time who said she wanted to buy some books from our bookstore, and then she wasn't sure if she had the books. She said, okay, she will check, she will look under her bed to check if she has that book. And I said, why is the book under your bed? She said that's where she keeps her book. And then initially she was complaining that she has so many books that she's not reading. And then she also tells me that the books are under her bed. That's the simple reason why she's not reading. I don't want to talk about that. I'm out of time and I'm now rushing, but all of these are detailed in the guide. All of them are detailed there, right? And then book recommendations is also when you want to shop for books, look for book recommendations. One thing I like about what we do in the Reader's Corner is we have created a niche for ourselves. We have the kind of books that we stock. So you don't need to bother to read the pages. Like for me, when I buy new books, I want to read them, flip them, and be sure that they're not going to corrupt my children's mind or even be contradictory to my family values. The Reader's Corner books have been read, right, by the team. We know what is in those books and we recommend them. So it takes that work off your neck. You don't have to buy a book from the Reader's Corner and you're saying, you saw a man marrying a man. No, it will never happen. Or you saw foul languages and all of that, right? So that's one step ahead that we've taken to make this process easier for parents. So we said keep books in sight, and in the guide I said keep the books. Sorry, I said yeah, yeah. Keep the books in sight, like litter the books all over the house. See, for children, this is how it works. You don't have to have one place where you've put the book. Put it in the living room, put it in the kitchen, put it in the bathroom, in the bedroom, in the lobby, in the sit out area. Put a copy of the book you want your child to read. This takes me to an important concept called silent programming. There are some battles you don't win by talking as a parent. No, you win by being smarter than the child. And that is silent programming. When you've put all these things in the place where they see them, and then you keep quiet and remove what they are. By the time you remove the screen, I mean, I'm not saying take it away completely. I mean regulate the screen. Let me put it that way. They will see your book and they will go and carry it and open it and start flipping pages. And the reading habit is formed by starting one page at a time. So you want to get their attention. So litter the books everywhere. In the car, you see that car jacket in front. When they are at the back, the person sitting in front has a jacket in front. Put books, colorful books that they like. A child that love, like my son, he's a car freak. So books on cars, books on cars. Put it like that, right? So I move to the next point really quickly. Teach your child why reading matters. My mentor, Wendy Olegi, she always says, he that knows why is better than he that knows how. Why should they read consistently? Teach them, explain it to them. You already have this understanding. I also put everything in this in the guide, in the slide, in the guide, so that you can always refer to it as your teaching tool. Why should I read? Because some children are curious enough to ask you, mommy, why the sudden change now? What's going on around here, right? So you want to demonstrate that you're knowledgeable, you know the why. So let them know why they want to do that. Children are more likely to embrace reading when they understand why it matters. Yes, I wanted to tell a story about this why thing, but let me just leave it because of time. But if you want me to still tell it, let me see in the chat session, I'll come back to it while I go ahead. When kids begin to see the real life value of reading, they are more motivated to pick up a book. Not because they have to, but because they want to. The why is what fuels passion, and the how is what builds your skill. Two of them are powerful, but the why comes first. So you want to begin by telling this child casually, like, this is what happens when we read regularly now in this house. This is how it transforms your mind, academic performance, all of those points we listed earlier. You use them as your teaching tool. Let them know why. The fifth one, set clear reading goals. Reading without a goal is like embarking on a journey without a map. Goals give reading a clear direction. What are examples of goals? What do you want to tell a child? It's like, set a goal. Children are competitive. They want to see something to look out for. Children are more likely to stay motivated when they know what they are working towards, right? So examples of goals, like maybe to finish a chapter book, to read for 20 minutes daily, or to read one book per week. Reading goals boost motivation and confidence. Every finished book, chapter, or reading streak reinforces the idea that I can do this. In the guide, we have put down different examples of reading goals that your child can set, and it is based on age. So for toddler children, we put examples of reading goals. For preteens, we put examples. For teens, we put examples. For young adults, we put examples of those reading goals, so that there's no ambiguity. You don't put a goal for a teenager and then you put it for a preteen, right? So all of that is in the book. We can't put all of them on in this course. I'm already hitting the second hour. I don't think I'm proud of that because I've eaten too far into my time, but I think I'm getting to the end now. Number six, the sixth way to spark your child's love for reading daily is to create the right systems. Oh, something is missing here. Okay, I'll talk through it. Create the right system. James Clear, the author of Atomic Habits, he says a goal without a system for implementation is only a wish. We don't want to do wishful thinking here. We want to be strategic. And he says, he said, you don't rise to the level of the goals you've set. You fall to the level of your systems. Your systems is what determines how you achieve your goal. So setting a goal is one step. Oh, you want to read 10 minutes before bedtime every day. How do you make that happen? So I'm going to talk through this one because for some reason it's out of the slide. I don't know why. I don't know what has happened. So I like to explain this system using the 5S system that we developed at the Reader's Corner. And the first one is schedule. Schedule your reading time. Let the child know when they should read and how. So when is it in the morning when they wake up? Is it in the afternoon before lunch? Is it in the evening before screen time? Or is it in the night before bedtime? That is where scheduling comes to play. In the guide, we've talked about ways to schedule. We use the implementation intention and we use the habit stacking methodology. All of these are explained in the guide. Oh my God, my time is far gone. Then we use the select, the second S for the system is select the right environment. In as much as we like that children can read, pick up a book and read anywhere, but structure is always a game changer when building habits. So the right environment must, you know, be quiet, should be comfortable, have a good sitting structure, has good lighting. All of those, even the ambience of what the child reads helps to spark this love, right? Some families I've seen, they have study sessions in their homes. Study sessions, like a library. One of my mentors, she said, you have room for your visitor, but you don't have a library for your child. You don't have a study session for your child. Is the home for the child or for the visitor? Why do you have visitors room, but there's no place dedicated for learning in your home, right? Then the third S is style. Use different reading styles. In the guide, we have put about 7 different reading styles and how to use them. We have the read aloud reading, shared reading, echo reading, choral reading, silent independent reading, paired body. There are a lot of them, and each of them have the method and the benefits and who you can use them for. The next one of the S, the fourth one now, is summarize. So when a child reads, let's help them to summarize their learnings. For me, I don't usually do more than one line or two lines. Don't bother telling me the whole thing. Just tell me one thing that this book is talking about. And the more the child reads and they're picking one thing, you can agree with me how much knowledge that they're accumulating, right? So summarize and journaling, and we put that this summarizes using the five W's and one H, which is who, what, when, where, why. These are for bigger kids, of course, and how. They can try to summarize, okay, so who is the book talking about? What is it talking about? Where did the plot, where was it written, and all of that. And then journaling, very important, very, very important. The kind of things to journal for the child to journal. I really apologize for this omission, this part of the slide. Something went wrong with it, but I'm going to read it from the guide, right? It you- Examples: they can journal their learning points from a story, they can journal action steps, thoughts and feelings, questions to ask, and all of that. Journaling promotes active reading. It boosts retention and builds writing frequency. Now, a pro tip. So the guide, I forgot to mention that it has a lot of pro tips, professional tips here and there, which are top secrets. It's not for the general public, right? So for this one, the pro tip I put here is encourage children to maintain a reading log. The reading log helps to document their reading progress and provide a sense of fulfillment as they read along. In the guide, part of the tools in the guide is a reading log, an editable reading log that you can use with your child. When they read a book, you help them to document it. That is how to walk them through this process. And the last S is supervise and track progress. Remember, you had a goal. So you need to track progress towards achieving that goal, right? And how do you supervise? By the reading log I mentioned, set and review reading goals, talk about books. I mean, when you have casual conversations, talk about books. Let books be the center of your communication. Children are, I mean, they love it when they can talk. Sometimes I read, myself and my children, we read different books, right? We read different books, and then we come and then we sit and talk about it. What did this person talk about? How did you find? My daughter was like, oh no, I didn't like that this book ended that way. My son will say, because he's still coming up, right? You say, oh, I love how the guy drove off with his car because he's a car lover. Those are the parts that interest him, right? Now, that's the 5S. I covered it. So thank you. I see somebody who put it down. So I moved to the last, no, not the last one. The seventh one. I have 8 strategies to help you spark. So let's look at number 7 now as we come to an end. Make reading fun. Fun, fun, fun. According to Jane Piaget, play is the work of childhood. I mentioned it earlier. Play, 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 play. When you say child plays too much, please leave the child. The child is doing their work. You are doing your own work. The child is doing their work. Only need to just regulate it and guide them appropriately. And then infuse the value you want to teach them into their play. For example, you want to build a reading culture, move it into play, right? They say when reading is fun, learning happens naturally. Then we talk about the play-based learning, right? Play-based learning for children, how to infuse play. In the guide, we have about 13 ways to make reading fun and enjoyable for your child. 13 ways to make it reading enjoyable for your child. You create a reading corner, you turn books into a performance, you make reading a game, and all of them. Let them read to others, read to your pets if you have pets, dogs, and all. Let them read. There are different ways to make reading fun. And in the guide, we also have 15 book related games parents can play with their children. Yes, remember I said play and children are 5 and 6. So any skill, anything you want to teach them, add it into the play. That's the way to attract the child. So don't make it, oh, serious, serious. Time to read. Oh, let's carry our book. It's time to read. We read. No, 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 no. No, it's not it has to be funny. So there are 15 book related games that we've put there in the guide as an appendix. You can pick any one, book charades, um um book treasure, what's it called, scavenger hunts. There are so many of them, and all of this don't have to happen at once. having a structure, maybe you say, oh, we can just play one book related game per month at the end of every Saturday, last Saturday of the month. This is the one we want to play. And all of these things are what helps you to raise a reader in your home. It doesn't take too much, it just takes strategy and knowledge. And I want to say thank you, 65 of you still here listening to me. I'm hitting the second hour. I'm getting tired already. I am out of time, but I'm not out of words. I have a lot more packed for you. But I'm going to end this class in the next few minutes so that I can let you go, enjoy the rest of your day, reflect on what we've talked about, and hit the ground running. Now, to the last one. For me, this one is the Oga Bata Bata. This one, model the reading habit to your child. I take it very seriously. Why? Children are great imitators. Give them something rewarding to imitate. Yes, let them see you reading in the morning before bedtime. They see many of the struggles that we parents have is because we don't do what we say. Just tell the child, read your book, read your book. But this child has not seen mommy open a book in 5 years or daddy. So what are they reading for? Let me give you another secret how this helped me. So, because I also have a structured day, please try to go through when if you have the time, go to our YouTube playlist. I talk about all of these things in different topics. When I was talking about time and all of that management, I have a structured day. So, I have my reading time in the morning, first thing in the morning, and the why I can't talk about on this course is in all those playlists, right? And those ones are free. You can access it, anybody can access it. So I put my reading time early in the morning. So very early when my brain is so sharp, I'm just waking up with that early morning journeys. I go into my reading mode. So when I now notice that after my reading comes when I need to pick up my phone, after I've done other things, reading is last, then I pick up my phone and then I check to respond to messages, do plan my day on my calendar. I noticed that that time was always falling into when my children wake up from sleep to get themselves ready for school. So when they come to say good morning, mommy, I'm on the phone. Remember, I am doing something meaningful on the phone. So, but when I sat back and I said, come on, these children always see me on the phone when they wake up. I am sending the wrong signal right now. So, you know what I did? I switched it so that my reading time falls in when they're waking up. That was magic for me. So these children wake up on Monday to say good morning. Mom is with a book. Doesn't mean I've been reading it all night though, but at the point they're looking at me, I'm reading a book. Tuesday, when that was it. Somehow they just knew that, oh, so this is a lifestyle. Everybody must read every morning. Because children they come tabla rasa, they come empty. It's what you feel in them that they become. One of my mentors, she said, parents are co-creators with God. We don't even know how much power we have with these children. It's what you do that your child becomes. So be the model reader. Be that model reading parent from today. Even if, no matter what it would cost you, time, money, energy, let your child see you reading every day. It's possible. If I can do it, everybody here can do it. And the reasons are endless. I don't want to go into that topic, but it is possible. I had to rework my way back into the right thing to do. So there's no argument with my child now. Oh, you do not read a book. Or even my daughter, she will ask you, she say, Mommy, you always tell us to do this thing, but you don't do it. My daughter has said that thing to me before. I shock. Because children see you more than they can hear you. I think I've done justice to this part. Again, in the guide, we have 20 ways to model reading in your home. What I gave you as mine was just one example, slotting the reading time when they're waking up. So they see me doing it consistently and then they pick it up. So we have read during downtime, like when you're sort of scrolling in the evening, just pick up a book. They're like, oh, wow. And another thing I try to do, because I'm also preaching reduce screen time for my children, I avoid them seeing me with my phone all the time. I limit my exposure to my phone to them so that they don't get up to know that, hey, 24 or 18 hours out of 24, this woman is on her phone. Then when they grow up, I'll not be saying, keep your phone. No, the child has been wired from what you've done 5 years ago. So I'm more, and I do it with a lot of clients as a business person, like, right? So I have messages to respond. I try to time it to when they are not around. I just carry my phone, back, 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 back. Even if I want to spend 2 hours on that phone, but they are not seeing me. Why? Because I understand the importance of modeling. One of my mentors, she said, children don't rebel against authority. Like they don't disobey your authority. What children rebel against is hypocrisy. What is hypocrisy? Hey, the only way to say just came to me in Igbo, but I will not speak it because I have a multicultural audience. It is don't do what I say, don't do what I do. So we are very quick to tell children, oh, do this, don't do, stop, stop. But you're doing the same thing. The exact same thing is what you're doing. Then you tell them to stop. That's when the child will not stop. You'll be wondering why. They won't come and tell you in your face that they are not stopping you. But why are they not stopping? Because you're not doing, you are doing it. So they have to do it because you're doing it. And it shocked me. So another example. Recently, oh, I think I just need to run off. Let me keep going. Let me keep going. Let me keep going. We save this conversation. I think we should have these classes more often. Now, so I just put here quickly the resources that you need. You need sufficient. So in raising a reader, this is what you need. This is your toolkit. Sufficient knowledge of strategies that you need, which is what we've talked about now. You need an open mind, a willingness to change from your old ways, from what you used to know, and to pick up what is the right thing to do. You need the right skills. In one of my webinars, I talked about my YouTube streams. I said the 7 skills of unstoppable readers. There is a skill that you need. You need a variety of books, talked about that. You need a family media plan. You need screen alternatives. You need fun reading strategies. And all of these are what we've put together in the guide. All the tools that you need to continue in this journey. Because trust me, even if I spend 10 hours on this call, it's not going to equip you because the slide is with me. You're at the back end, you're just only seeing it, if possibly even taking screenshots, it will not do so much for you. That's why we put together this guide. It's a lot of value, trust me, and it took the team sleepless nights to get this thing out. Why? The passion, the vision is clear. Raise lifelong readers. I believe that you've read the conclusion already, and I want to say congratulations to you on raising your next reader because I know that the journey begins now. I know that you have picked something to go away on this call with, and this is where I introduce our new guide. It is called Raising Readers, a quick guide to ignite and sustain your child's love for books. These things I've talked about and much more are in that guide. As a parent who has gone through this process for a couple of years now, I have put this thing down for everyone who wants to have it. I'm going to um take maybe 2 or 3 questions so that I can keep my promise that I said I will take questions, right? But the details of how to the guide is going to be on pre-order starting after this class. I just need to touch base with the team. It will be on pre-order, something very affordable, right? Because I want to promote this vision. Parents, we need to raise readers. It makes the world a better place. It makes your parenting journey better and it empowers your child for a greater future. Right, so this is where I come to say thank you for spending a whooping 2 hours with this girl called Vera. Right, these questions, oh, there are questions here. Awesome, I can take them. On the librarian issue in New Brunswick, my question is, what's the effect of, oh, wonderful. I like this question. Is it where I can expand this screen? Yeah, I got it done. What's the effect of the librarians on our children's reading culture outside the reading of books? The role of the librarian in the educational sector needs to evolve. Oh, I get this point. So for me, this is how it works. The children, like my daughter, she brings home books every day because she's a reader, don't forget. So every day she has like 2 books in her bag and she finishes them, she'll put it back in her bag and return. So let me ask you, when there's no librarian in the library, who will guide them? These are children, kindergarten to grade 5 children. Who would guide them to where the books are? Who would help them make the choices? Let me tell you what will happen. If there were 50 children reading, collecting books in that library, huh? The moment they take away that librarian, it will drop to 5 children. I can assure you. I know it like I know my name. Because you don't need a library, no person, just books. And then you say, children, it's time to pick up your book. How does that work? They need someone, someone needs to receive them, play with them, tell them, oh, this is an interesting read. I think you should try it. Yes, that's the way it works. This is my opinion, but I'm happy to have your opinion. We can connect outside here, and I'm really interested in this question, right? Please, what mentorship programs? Okay, we have mentorship programs. Some authors that I partner with, they have mentorship programs. We have the Boys Leadership Academy for boys. The boys are aged 5 to 8. No, from age 5 to teenagers. We have the Girls Hub. So promise, I'm going to put all of this information together and I'll drop it in the chat in the WhatsApp group, because mentorship is also a parenting tool. You get mentors who share the exact same values with you, your journey is smoother. Because while you're talking one place, the mentor is amplifying what you're saying. So they're hearing the same thing from different sources. I don't want to get into that topic, it's a long one. What are the books that are fit for 4 years, 7 years, and 9 years? This is in the guide. The types of books, for chapter books, for activity books, for board books, it is in that guide. I took my time to, you know, categorize them accordingly. Thank you, Choma. This came for me at the right time. I was just thinking of how to help my children improve on their reading skills, and this came up. Remember, we said summer reading secrets. It is deliberate. The best time to start is now, this summer. Yes, because the children are home. They're not in the um. I have a lot of comments I've been missing. Oh my God, how do I get to all of them? They are not under pressure to meet up their school bus and run and all of that, So, oh, thank you, Mrs. Temer. She said the library will be closed if there's nobody to man there, because who would receive the books when they are checked in? Thank you. The library will be closed. So that means automatically shutting down reading in school. So at home, we need to do more. Oh. We need to do more. Right? Thank you. I like all the comments. Thank you so much. So we're going to share details of how to get the guide, because we want to walk through this journey, right? And the community that we have now, I don't intend to close it up, because I see that you parents are eager to work on this journey. So I'm available to take your questions on that chat room. Hold your hands, whatever you need, ask your questions. We're in this thing together. My response might not be as speedy as possible, but I guarantee that I would always come back to the questions. The guide is in e-copies for now, because we want it to go round to everybody. I looked at the audience as you filled the form. I saw that many people are outside Nigeria, outside of Canada. I reside in Canada, by the way. If I didn't add that in my introduction, I live in Canada with my family, right? So I don't want to be focused on Canada market and just do hard copies for you. I want to have something, and trust me, this guide is something you can sit and read in a few hours. It's colorful, bigger prints, easy for you to scroll, right? How do we handle a child with ADHD? Please get professional help. Many parents, let me talk about this ADHD. Many parents want to live in denial when it comes to this ADHD. Like, they want to say, oh, it will change. For me, this is my own opinion. I might be wrong. I feel like if you notice anything off, you're uncomfortable, please seek professional help. Professional help does not necessarily mean hospital. Oh. There are some specialists, some psychologists that can handle this kind of issue. They will ask you some questions and review your case, right? Because you want to give your child a chance to live better, to grow up better. So what I would say for ADHD is to please get professional help as quickly as possible. And if you've gotten already and they're telling you stuff and maybe you don't like the sound of what they're saying, well, I leave this to you, and because I know there's a part for faith. Faith, there's something God can. Yeah, so that's part of this professional help. They have professional help that help with reading. Oh, okay, I see. Okay, I see. Biola, he's on medication for about 3 years. Awesome. So for reading, for ADHD, I'm not an expert in the health part, but what I can say is you have to be with them, do it with them, right? Try to, and the question you're asking is very important, because ADHD, one of the biggest problems is attention, right? To stay one place. So a reading habit is a good way to help that child. Yes, he's not interested in reading. Yes, that's part of it. So you have to, now you have the tools, right? Tell me that all of these things that we talked about, you've been doing them and he still doesn't like reading. I don't believe so. So maybe Mama, you need to, or Papa, who is asking, Biola is a woman. Mama, you need to get this, take prioritize this reading part. I had a story on this reading and all the ADHD, but I don't have time to tell it. Right? Scatter the house with books. There must be something this child likes. There must be something that he likes. Right. So scatter the house with books, create time to read with the child. Remember, it's a process. In the guide, I put a nice conclusion. I said, raising a reader is a journey. Please. You see, thank you, Abiola. You said you're not a reading person. So change. Let reading become a new habit that you're bringing in. This child would improve. Whether he will become a reader overnight, I can't promise you that, but I know that he will improve. Find out what he likes. Some people they like cooking. Then buy books on cooking. They are all of them are everywhere in the market. Order from Amazon. Buy books. Buy from the Reader's Corner. Buy books on the interest of your child, and slowly the habit is locking in. I don't want to. Yes, I like this question. How do you limit screen time while using ebooks? Very valid question. So for me, Vera, I'm not a fan of ebooks. People who know me well on this call, they know I'm not a fan of it. I will always do hard copies. And that is why we established the Reader's Corner bookstore where we give you physical books. Go and hold it and let the child see you holding the book. For this ebook, this guide, why we wanted to start it out as an ebook is so that we can get the attention and provide the help to as many parents as possible. Of course, Raising Readers will be published as a book, as a hard copy, but not now, right? It's on the works already. We don't want to then say we should wait for it to be hard copy and then e-copy before we launch. What I try to work with the graphics team is to make it bold and clear. So remember the trick I gave you. Don't read it in your front of your child so that you don't use it as an excuse to do 2 hours of screen time. You wake when they've gone to bed, you wake up and read what you need to read on ebooks. Because I can't promise you that all the books will be hard copies. Sometimes you need to be on the screen learning, researching. I try to time it when they are not available. Remember what I said so that I can reduce it, so that they don't see me always on my phone. It doesn't mean they will not see me. Of course, I have a device to communicate. They will see me sometimes communicating. Am I supposed to read with a 9-year-old? Yes. Read with a 9-year-old. Read for a 9-year-old. Teach them independent reading. That is why in the guide we put down different types of reading. We have the independent reading, we have the read along, we have the read together, echo, choral reading. So let me tell you why reading with your 9-year-old child is beneficial. It shows them that you have time for them. Despite how busy you are, your busy schedule, you have time to even open a book with me, mommy. They might not tell you all of these things, but they feel it. Mm? Okay, Choma, is there another question? Do you want to just help me to copy it and paste it back? Because if I go up and then I begin to miss other comments, let me see if that works. Let me see if I can do it quickly. But if you can, please just post it now. So please, and it's part of the strategies we talked about in the guide. We said how to model reading, and we talked about why you should read with your child and for your child. Read for your children before they go to bed. It does something to their mind that you can never, 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 never understand. Read for them. No, even teenagers, read for them. Teenagers read so many times. I have reader children at home, but my daughter, who is the bigger one, sometimes she say, "Mommy, I need to finish this book, but please can you read it for me?" A 9 almost going to 10. When I pick up that book, I read for her. I'm not telling her that you cannot read. I'm telling her that I care for you. In your downtime, I'm going to help you to fulfill this goal of reading which you like. So that's number one. It also helps them to learn how to read better because they watch you read, your fluency, your coordination, your combination of of tones and all of that. It helps you. So you're gonna read for these children, you're gonna read with them, and you're gonna let them read by themselves. All of these strategies are in the guide. I couldn't put everything in this course, it was just too much. My son who is a teenager would tell me he likes fantasy book. Okay. But I don't think that it's appropriate for him. I got a Kochebuka book, but he said it's boring. But I don't listen to that. But in your presentation, you said they should get book. Correct. So you're starting, what is happening here? You're doing the right thing in the wrong way. You want to get this child to read books, not to read your book. So what you're doing here is, mommy, you're saying, read your book, carry Kochebuka's book and read your book. No, you want to get to a child, a point where the child, you say the child, read a book. So that a book means any book of your choice. It is from that reading a book and the thing with habit is once it is unlocked, you can't take it away. I had the same issue with my girl when I was trying to teach her. She's like, Auntie Tima's book. No, so boring, no colors. I will not read. But today there is no more because in her academy, in her mentoring session, children read books every month. They already have a list of books the child must read every month, and they will discuss it in a Zoom call. Some of them are picked to make presentations on it. So I started from what do you like? I can't remember the names because I'm a bit exhausted now. Um, Babysitter's Club. Is that what you want to read? As long as I've gone through it, there's nothing corrupting in it, nothing outside of my values. Read. What am I trying to do to unlock that habit? And you know how habits are unlocked? Something you do repeatedly, 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 before you know it, it becomes a part of you. So that is where we got to by allowing her to read what she likes. And then in between, you bring in, I started for Antetima's book, I brought it in, and then I had to read it for her. Then she was about 6 or 7. I'll read it for her with her, then we talk about it. But today, I don't read Antetima's books for her. She picks it, and before the 15th of the month, she said, Mommy, I'm done with this book. But I need to pick up another one. So I started from the solution, the end goal. The end goal is to unlock the reading habit. And how did I achieve that? By allowing her to read what she likes, even though I knew what I wanted her to read. Kindly help out with this because I don't think fantasy book is what we need at this age. That's why I force him. No, you don't force a child. You get them to love reading by themselves, and then they will read anything and everything in front of them. My 9-year-old loves football, and I get books on what he loves, and I still have to prompt him to read most times. Please, what do you advise me to do? Auntie Choma, do you read in front of your child? Does he see you reading? Is there a reading culture at home? Please help me to put down all the questions. Okay, yes, you read for the child. Do you play book related games with the child? Please look at all of these strategies that we talked about. Pick anyone that you've not been doing, start it and give it time. I can assure you it will happen. Yeah, and then the part of prompting is part of the process as the parents. You still have to help them. Yes, you still have to help them and tell them, please, it's time to read. So another thing I want to ask you, do you have a schedule for reading? Do you have a schedule? When is your reading time every day? For me, my children in their menu, what's it called? In their schedule, they have a schedule pasted in the fridge of what they do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. There's a place that says read for 10 minutes. So when that time is there, my bigger girl is the one calling the boy. Hey, Ethan, it's our reading time. Oh, even in this holiday, we sat down, we crafted it, and we said, I think we said 12:30 to 1 p.m. every day is reading time. So once it's that time, the alarm goes off. In fact, my daughter, she set up the alarm. She put different tones for the alarm. So when the alarm goes off, she said she knows which song is for reading. She said, it's time to read. Oh. So schedule it, and follow through with scheduling. By the time you follow through with scheduling, they unlock it. So they are not unlocking reading now. They're unlocking that 1 o'clock is time to carry my book. Once they get to that flow, you've achieved your goal. Mrs. Olanike, my party, I love you, baby. I just asked my 7 year son what book interests you? He gave me 5 books. Graphic design, computer science, cooking, art, baking. Now you have a guide. You see? So the moment you bring those books in the home, you are the one that will beg your child to stop reading. That's it. That's it. Okay. Do we have any more questions at this time? Any more questions at this time? Oh, I don't think we do. I just want to go through and see. Thank you. Whew. Okay. What's the appropriate reading duration per day? Should schedule be done at interval? Let me start with the last question. Just give me a second. What's going on with my... Okay, the screen went off. So, my apologies. Just give me a minute. Okay. So, should... See, my answer would be, see, I wanted to tell a story about this, but I'm full of stories, but let me keep it down because of time. The thing with scheduling something, let me use routines to explain it. Routines, right? Thrive on consistency. So you want to get the child into a reading routine, then it cannot be interval. It has to be back to back. But I get you. So another thing about establishing a routine is you don't want to flood the home with new things like read on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. You want to start small, introduce it nicely. You can say, oh, we read every Sunday evening for 15 minutes, all of us read together. That's okay. For the first 2 months you do that, so they're now like, oh, this mommy, we're beginning to read now. The children are the ones that will come back to you and say, let's read on Monday too, let's read on Tuesday. So I get your question about intervals. It can be at interval when you're starting, but the goal is to get them to unlock a habit, and you have to make it more frequent if you want to unlock that habit. Start at intervals, progress gradually, depending on what suits your family dynamics. Yeah, I hope I answer. Please, when I answer your question, let me know so that I don't think I have and when I've not. How can those of us in the UK have access to your store hard copy? Okay, for this one, I have a partner in the UK. I'm going to discuss with her. I didn't see this question coming, so I'm going to discuss with her and see, to connect you guys with her. Then you can get your books, hard copy books. She has similar books that I have, right? You can connect with her and, get your books. She has hard copy books. Again, hard copies are very good. They help you to show your child how to read. You're doing it, you're growing yourself, and you're also growing the child indirectly, because they say, yeah, also healthier for your eyes and your sight and all of that. So I'm going to do just that. I'm admin. I hope you're taking note of all my promises so that I am able to fulfill all of them. Thank you. Thank you, my beloved parents. I am super, super proud of you for hanging in here with me, for trusting that I can show you. I hope that you now have your summer reading secrets. You know how to turn this summer into a different one by changing what is going on in your house. Introduce reading as a lifestyle, and before the school vacation, you will see that your child is ready, prompt up, ready to start the new session, right? We have a lot of activities in the Readers Corner, so just keep connected with us in the WhatsApp group. Be there. I'll put a lot of information, reading book reviews, reading clubs for children, all of that in the work. So um please stay with us. We love you. And if you have questions, please send your questions either to the admin number, or preferably to the admin number, for faster response. For me, the response might not be very quick. Thank you so much. I think it's about time that we called it a day. Yes, it's about time. There'll be a recorded session. Hopefully, I hope Zoom was able to record for us. So we will have that also by the side if you want to catch a replay. I think that was recorded. I'm not very sure, but reach out to us if you need the guide. I'm going to post the details of how to order for the guide on the chat room. I just need to touch base with the team and tidy up some stuff so that we sure you have a seamless process of ordering and receiving it in your email, and then you start reading already. Thank you so much. I remain Vera Patrick Azodo, the girl with the vision to raise lifelong readers. Thank you for staying with me. I really do appreciate your presence. I'm not even exaggerating. I'm glad that you stayed all through this course. Thank you. Tell us how you saw the course in the chat, WhatsApp chat. Let's take it away from there. Thank you, and I sign out now. Bye-bye.